technology, engineering, and mathematics in education is necessary and or possible at the elementary levels at Randall?
Of course it is. Of course it's possible. I have been able to myself see the process happen at Cleaver Grade School. It's been incredibly enlightening to see students who struggle think that that is the coolest thing in the world. It's very hands-on. There also is computer-based to it. The students have to do research. They get a program. It could be anything that they may need to build. One of the coolest things I've seen is sort of like an erector set. And they have to build a vehicle. And they have to use gears. And they have to use tires. And they have to use a plate. And it kind of steps them through it as to how they could do it, but it doesn't give them the end results. It really gets them thinking. Like again, it's hands-on. Most kids love hands-on things. There is also a computer-based part of it, which involves giving your research. It asks questions. There's daily assignments. It's really a neat thing. And the teachers have to go through a teaching process themselves to learn the program. It's not that, here's the program, good luck, have fun. They actually, I know the teacher at Trevor went through a summer-long program with it and learned about it to teach it. It was, so far what I've witnessed of it, really neat thing. Kids are very excited about it. And I understand it's being carried on through the high school. So, thank you.
Mr. O'Connell?
Correct.
Yes, at the elementary level at Randall.
Sure. So certainly it's possible. We've seen it in some other schools. The question I have is the necessariness of it, right? And I don't have the answer to that. So I would have to meet with the new administrator. I need to meet with our principal, and I need to meet with a core group of teachers to talk about that and where are the opportunities to implement STEM in our school. The concept of STEM is terrific. I can't argue against the concept. I think it's a great program. Tie science and math together at an earlier age. Science and math tied together opens up their mind to all kinds of other opportunities, all kinds of other thought processes. So that concept works for me. That's a great idea. How we implement it is, of course, the big trick, and how you implement it at school. As Mrs. Last said, you can't just go out and buy a package and now you're a STEM school. It doesn't work that way. It has to be implemented the right way. Teachers have to be educated on how to use it and how to implement it in their classroom. Now keep in mind that there are a lot of things we do today without having STEM here that are STEM-like activities, right? We see field trips down to the lake, do hands-on projects, study things in the prairie. There's a lot of STEM-like things that happen here today without having STEM in place. So that's where the necessary conversation comes in. I'm open to the conversation. But is it possible? It's absolutely possible, and I think it's one of the opportunity areas that we need to look at.
Mr. Starnick?
Is it necessary and possible? I don't think anybody's going to disagree that science and math are not necessary to teach. Is it necessary to teach technology and engineering at the elementary, middle school level? Yeah, and we have been for a long time. Anybody build castles?
You're not supposed to build it.
Well, if you saw my students, you'd know that I didn't. Technology is one of those things that the question really is about what age and stage of development do kids really benefit the most from it? And all of the candidates said very much similar answers here that yes, we can, and yes, we should. One of the examples, and this is more personal experience, helped the Burlington School District and Racine Unified School District apply for grant dollars. And we actually created Project Lead the Way summer camps for middle school kids. Was that for elementary school? No, it wasn't appropriate because we were doing Project Lead the Way engineering camps to interest them and get them excited about Project Lead the Way learning so that when they got to high school, they had an introduction to it and they knew, well, do I want to do this or not? Because by the time you're a freshman in high school, that's kind of intimidating to try to figure it out at that point. I know we actually have a Project Lead the Way teacher who's shaking his head. And actually I've talked with Mr. Kehoe about possibly doing that with Wilmot. There are grant opportunities available to do that won't cost dollars from the taxpayers here in the same way to implement a whole new curriculum. There are opportunities to do that. So that's one of the things as a board member I would like to expose our district to. Mr. O'Connell made some really good points. It's not just about the technology, it's about the incorporation of science, math, technology across the curriculum. And I would go one step further into history and into literature and into music and into all of those opportunities to do co-collaborative curriculum across, because that's where kids really get it at that point. Thank you.
The engineering and mathematics and education is necessary and or possible at the elementary levels at Rainbow.
Yes and yes. How exciting. I think as we sit and talk about even Common Core and building our own standards and creating the best academic achievement, it's exciting to think of new education that we can pull into our school to prepare our kids for high school. I would hate for our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade even to go to high school and never have to work with any type of STEM education. Let's prepare our kids for that step. Let's create that. Let's excite them. I think it's critical thinking at an early age, and I think it's awesome. I think it would be great to do our science and our technology and engineering and math and create it all. The biggest part with that, and a big part of it, as everybody has mentioned, and how we're going to implement it. Technology comes into play at a lot of levels on the school, and we have to be able to have the infrastructure, and that's what this board has just done within the last year, is place all our infrastructure so we can do exciting things like this. How fun would it be to have this STEM education and for our teachers to dive into it? I can think of 10 or 20 or 30 of them that would be just excited